Hello and welcome to the Cult for Tax Purposes. You're riding with Mac today, and I'm going to be talking about the PC version of the Battlefield 2042 Open Beta. There'll be some of my gameplay on in the background, and also one or two clips from both Doc and Storm. Obviously, as a professional outfit, you can see here how Storm has made the extra effort to change his EA name to... never mind. So, after we had a few days to calm down, I thought I'd put pen to paper and gather my personal thoughts on the beta. So I think it's only fair I start by declaring my personal bias for the franchise. Back in the day, I played BF2 literally until its server death, and then thanks to the modding community, some time after as well. This then took an offshoot to the realm of Project Reality and Armour, which in turn went to Squad and other realism-based titles, such as Drakeling Labs' Operation Harsh Doorstop. By the way, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on upcoming coverage of OHD. The other more natural offshoot from Battlefield 2 was to enjoy the heck out of 2142, Battlefield 3, and into Battlefield 4, which for me then leads into the arena of 2042. The battlefields of World War I and World War II held little interest for me in this franchise, and so I come to this from a perspective without knowledge of BF1 or 5 or their advancements, and so I hope my opinion offers something slightly different to what you might have seen before. For me, right off the bat, 2042 feels like a successor in every right to Battlefield 4. The core gameplay reminds me of BF4 at every turn, except with the twist of the passage of time. This is further made undeniable by the inclusion of Graves as a specialist, who was a character in BF4 also. But, with Battlefield 4 having such staying power, with multiple full and active servers today, some 8 years after its initial release, it would seem that 2042 has some unenviable large shoes to fill. And, to be honest, as a consumer, this has little to no bearing on us. Unless you also happen to be in the odd Venn diagram of both consumer and developer, if the game lives up to expectation or flops on release, it will have little to no effect on our lives. Bar one thing. EA would like you to stump up the thick end of 50 quid to pre-order the game.
Or for us Americans, 60 freedom dollars.
With little to no benefits now the open beta has ended, since one of its few advantages used to be early access to the open beta. In fact, I'll now edit out the part where they include a bloated description of the game to show you exactly what you get. Take note, this does not include early access to the game at all, and in my opinion offers almost no value proposition. And so, that leaves the more expensive editions, Gold and Ultimate, and, unless you really want a few extra skins and the digital art book / soundtrack, then we're actually only really talking about the Gold edition. At the thick end of 80 quid, this is a serious amount of money, but at least it offers something in return.
Better give me something in return for $100.
The Year 1 Cosmetic Pack, or as it should be marketed the first year of the Battle Pass included, and the aforementioned 1 week early access to the game. But mostly this. And, in truth, the £30 extra for 4 Battle Passes doesn't seem excessive, but at the same time, it isn't a total steal. But the reality is, if you do buy this, well, then you're investing in the game at launch. You are betting on the first week early game being playable, and it will have a staying power for at least 1 year. After all, what's the point in owning battle passes to a deserted game? And so, that's where we as consumers have to make a decision, based on what we saw during the beta. And unfortunately, a beta no longer means what it once did. For DICE as a developer, I'm sure it was a great opportunity to gain months' worth of data in but a few short days. But for EA, as the publisher, it was also a demo. I think it's fair that the open beta gets scrutinised in both lights. First, as a beta, it played well, especially considering it was reported to be a 2-month-old build. With the exception of one particularly bad play session, the gunplay felt good, natural and gratifying, which speaks positively to the netcode it's built around. This is, as long as you didn't pick up a sniper, where the bullet velocities made the whole experience feel mushy, hard to anticipate lead, and for Storm, became too frustrating to handle. But in a beta with no large in-game map, an inoperable ping system for the most part, and backup iron sights that work 50% of the time, a balancing issue of bullet velocities and overpowered weapons, M5, would seem to matter little. If its only target was to prove the support of 128 random clients and provide developmental information to literally make this game work, then I'm sure on that front it succeeded. But to look at the beta as a demo, with the purpose of convincing me to part with hard-earned cash before I see the final product, well, it's not nearly as clear-cut. It was quite literally littered with bugs. Oh shit. That's a bug.
What?
Shit, the dirt next to you thinks it's been shot. That's hilarious. Major game mechanics were missing, like the aforementioned map and ping system. The air vehicle avionics were at times terrible. And seemingly at random, a game server would decide that when you're standing over a dead teammate, what you really wanted to do was swap weapon and not revive them.
Oh, for a second then. No. Yes, no. Oh my god.
On your roof.
As a preview for the final game, the beta did not deliver an experience I would choose to play for very long, never mind actively pay for. And yet, through all this, there were genuine moments of Sandbox Comedy.
Are you coming to A with me?
Later. No patent soldiers are now on the scene to help fill out the ranks. It won't take much for our Marines to hold off these Russian soldiers.
So, John, is America prepared to face a full-scale
What's that? Oh, shit.
Boys,
We now hold Sector Alpha.
what just happened?
The rocket was incredibly cool, and you did feel part of a movie. And I fail to recall gaming moments more vivid than those spent with my squad in the tunnel between the D objectives, feeling like SEAL Team 6 truly making a difference in the larger match at hand. Okay.
Mate, the audio in this game's terrible.
Die.
Well, they are close.
One down.
Another one down.
Nice.
Oh, he's weak. He's weak. He's on the right. He's gonna nade. He's nading.
On right.
Got another one down. I got another one. I gotta get back.
You might be able to res.
Yeah.
Just like go up the road and res. They probably won't see you.
Get him up. Another one down. Another one down. Come on, I'm a fucking beast.
Thanks, buddy. Now, I haven't touched on DICE's choice to step away from class-based weapons and abilities, but in short, it doesn't bother me. As for its impact on gameplay, well, so far, all I've noticed is when I asked the squad for ammo,
Who has the ammo?
instead of a deathly silence, I got...
I do.
Did you drop some?
They got Sector
Yeah.
Alpha.
Thanks, Benz. Since it wasn't class and weapon locked, we had managed to build an effective squad without the need for someone to run a weapon they weren't comfortable with. This makes the game more accessible, and a more accessible game tends to be a longer-lived one. So, as this video draws closer to needing a conclusion, I find myself truly unable to make a recommendation. On the one hand, my head understands that the game we saw in the beta is not ready for release, and even taking into account that it may or may not have been a 2-month-old build, I'm still not convinced it would be ready come November. But as a matter of the heart, I can't shake the undeniable enjoyment I had with the cult while playing this. Further to that, shortly before the end of the beta, I jumped in alone late at night to get some footage of the underbarrel grenade launcher, which, being unremarkable aside, did highlight how hollow the game experience felt, knowing I didn't have Doc or Storm battling the enemy to attempt to make it to my downed body. In fact, to that end, I think one of the greatest unsung features about this game is something we almost all took for granted, and that is this. Now, I apologise if this is old hat for BF1 and BF5 players, but as someone coming from Battlefield 4, where you would have to battle auto-balance to be with your friends and play together, actively choosing the losing side, hoping other defectors who didn't want to lose would make space available on that team for more friends, and those being the same friends that you joined using the useless party system. Well, that is in stark contrast to the near-flawless performance of the 2042 party system, which, although threadbare, never once failed to place us on the same server in the same match within the same squad. and that just amplified my potential enjoyment with the thought of having a similar BF4 experience without the auto-balance dance at the beginning of a play session. So, with all of this being said, spoiler alert, I will be pre-ordering 2042, and that's not just because we as a channel want to cover it. We are very small and do this for fun and not any monetary gain right now, and so this does pose a significant investment. But for me personally, there is one further point to consider that the open beta couldn't tell me one way or another. Portal. You see, I have a dream, and that's to see assets from 2142 available in 2042. A full 128-player match with titans in the sky and my squad attempting to fight to the very centre of the ship, trying to win the match. All the while still earning game XP that is valid for the base game at large. Now, that is a dream. There are no plans to include 2142 content, but their inclusion of Portal and how they intend to implement it is an indication of their ethos towards this game. My personal experience with this franchise spans near on 16 years, and a vast majority of that was supported by modded content. And I'd be lying if I didn't say the inclusion of Portal will be a large deciding factor in me choosing to financially support this game. So, in summing up, should you pre-order 2042? If you manage to love the beta experience despite its failings, and you feel like you can believe in what DICE are trying to deliver, why not? It will be a decision made on faith, and that is a matter of the heart. But even so, I would have to say it's Gold Edition or bust. But if you were unconvinced by the beta, found its bugs too tiresome and couldn't care less about Portal, well, I see no compelling reason to buy early. Bide your time, wait a while past launch and see which way the wind is blowing. For the cost of a few lost cosmetic skins, the very worst outcome is you'll be coming in with full knowledge of which meta weapon to unlock first. This has been my thoughts on Battlefield 2042. I have been Mac, and you have been watching The Cult for Tax Purposes.